But we're going to get right back into the show. Today, we're going to be talking about the polyamorous relationship. Am I saying that right?
Oh, you were saying it right before.
Before?
Polyamorous.
I'm still learning right now.
Yeah.
You were almost there.
Yeah, we're almost
learning
there.
every day.
Yeah, but our guests today, we have Jessica and Annie.
You did that backwards.
Jessica and Annie. I'm so sorry. Just getting it right. And we are also here with Dr. Lovejoy.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually our first time meeting. I know you're
Yes, it
here.
is.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
But you guys got here known through. You guys were introduced by Shelton. How did you guys meet?
How did we?
Actually, that's a funny story. So it was Mother's Day, and what do you do on Mother's Day but take your spouse wife to get a new phone
Okay,
so that you can steal her old one to give to your son?
that's about right.
And that's what we did. So we went to the Verizon store, and we met Shelton there.
Gotcha.
And he thought we were funny, so.
They were awesome. Mm-hmm.
We are pretty awesome. So.
They are.
You guys are right. That's playing the show.
This is so cool.
So-
I'm so excited.
So
For people like me that don't know what this kind of relationship is, the polyamorous, like, could you kind of explain what that is or define it? Because I don't
Sure.
really know.
So it is a horrific mixture of Greek and Latin roots
Okay.
that roughly means many loves.
Okay.
So the traditional open relationship, I say traditional, when people think of an open relationship, they think of a relationship where you get to fool around with other people, but you're not supposed to fall for anyone else. Whereas in
Right.
polyamory, we accept the idea that you can love multiple people at the same time. What that looks like tends to vary a lot from relationship to relationship. There's a lot of people where it's a main couple and then they have relationships outside of that. There are people who believe in relationship anarchy, where every relationship stands on its own and they don't have any sort of hierarchy. There are people who date a lot. There are people who are like, I have these two people that I'm in love with and no one else ever. Like, people say there's no wrong way to do poly. That's probably not true. Cheating is still absolutely a thing. But cheating is when you break the rules, whatever the rules might be.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's really interesting. For me, okay. So you, from what I understand, you have a male spouse, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then you are also with Jessica.
So yeah,
No.
explain what it is in your case.
right. So how
At this
does
point.
your relationship work?
So in our case, she is married to Andrew,
Mm-hmm.
and I am married to James. James and Annie met and started dating, and they thought that Andrew and I would be a good couple. So we met and also started dating. So really, we're 4 relationships that just happen to work.
So all 4 of you are dating each other, meeting.
But
But we're
The
not
men
dating.
are not dating and the
And the
women
women
are
are
not
not dating.
dating.
Oh.
I call her my spouse wife because I wanted a
Oh.
term that showed she was something more to me than a roommate. And spouse wife worked for that.
So I refer to her as my wife because functionally, in every way that isn't romantic or sexual, she is. Like, she's the person I sit down and talk to about chores and how to discipline the
you
kids.
have emotional
and,
connection then.
and we do, I think, at this point have, but
It's developed.
it's
but,
we
like,
didn't really when it started.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's important to note, I've been with Andrew, since we started
right.
dating, I've been with Andrew 18 years in August. I've been with James 10 years in this year. Jessica's been with James 21 years. She's been with Andrew 10 years. Like, these are...
Wow.
I'm kind of confused. I just want to kind of get it together.
Okay.
So you're married and you're married.
Yes.
Yes.
And then
they're crossing.
So
And then I date her husband and she dates mine.
and
it's
then
a bit
But
more
they're
than
not
dating it,
together.
yeah.
but you guys aren't together.
And the guys aren't together.
It's a square.
Yes.
So you're like swinging.
So we really are
Well,
a foundation.
That's a different term.
We're like the foundation of a house.
You live in the same
So-
house.
We
So
live in the
what-
same house.
What's the difference between swinging and
Swinging is
This.
just sex.
That's just sex, yeah.
oh.
This isn't an actual like a relation. Okay, let me get this straight one more time. So you got a husband, you have a husband. The husbands are
Not
no.
together.
No. You're meeting her husband and you're meeting her husband.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
If meeting is the word you choose.
Okay, I get it now. I get it now.
So how does it work though? Like as far as okay, if you're married and you're dating the other, how do you divide your time?
Well, now that we all live in one house, it's a lot easier and doesn't involve commuting to Douglasville anymore.
Or Orlando.
So how do you share the rooms? Who sleeps with who normally?
So essentially, our beds remain the same, and the men are the ones who move around. But we actually have a schedule.
Yeah.
oh.
Matter
Okay,
of
so
fact,
it's a
tonight
schedule.
is Wednesday night, and
That's when we
switch.
switch.
So every 3-4 days you switch? How-
Roughly.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's interesting because we are a cohabitating family. We have kids and everything else. So part of it is I have to sleep in my room because I've had a toddler most of the time that we've lived in this house. So I have to be able to get up in the middle of the night with my kid, which means I can't sleep in the room downstairs. So I sleep with Andrew, or I sleep with James, but they have to sleep with me in my room. I can't go down to the other room because I have to
Gotcha.
be.
That's your.
So how many children do you have?
We each have two.
We have two.
Two.
I have the older two. She has the younger two.
Oh, okay.
And
And
your
so
children are with your official
that's what I wanted to know
husband,
too.
So
your
I-
legal husband.
I
My-
actually had my kids before we met them,
Mhm.
so that one's 100%
right.
ours.
Right.
You
so-
and James's.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she had her first. He's 8 now, so
With Andrew.
2 years in.
So
Wait,
No.
so answer the question.
Yes, they are with our husbands are home with the kids.
No.
Who is so? Who's your husband? Who is your legal
An-
husband?
Andrew is my
Andrew.
legal husband,
Andrew is your legal husband. So your children are with Andrew.
and I mean James is also home.
No. Who's,
No.
Yes,
No.
they
Who's
are
the father
Andrew.
Who's the
of the
father?
kid?
Andrew is the
Oh,
father.
oh,
The
I
biological
thought you meant like
father. Yes.
physically
Thank you.
with.
No,
Are
no,
they
no, no.
with?
No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Father.
Okay,
Sorry.
so
We
biologically,
need to use fewer.
So we're 100% sure that mine are James's.
Right.
Okay.
We are 99% sure that,
Oh.
that hers is Andrew's, and we're 75% sure that the youngest one is Andrew's.
So we
Okay.
need to go
Or
on
they
Lori.
are Chimera.
Or they are who?
Chimera.
What's that?
Chimera.
Which is
That's a whole
that's
different
ano- that's
weird
another
medical thing. No, so yes, they are Andrew's kids.
Okay.
Yes, they're. We haven't gotten them tested, so there's always a long shot. that
Wait,
they're-
I want to
that
know.
they're-
What's that word you used just now?
Chimera, and that's actually Annie's theory, is that it's a
not
combination.
Of
theory.
both. It's
Of
like
both.
both.
Yeah.
Theory.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Use parentheses.
Yes.
Your
It-
mind
it-
looks
it
so
ne-
blown right now.
It never happens.
I'm just
but if
trying
it
to
did.
connect everything together. Like everything.
It's still not
We need to
connected
have a
for
No,
you.
board
it is
up
now. It
here.
is now.
Yeah,
Yes, it
we need-
definitely helps when we can draw diagrams for people. It,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
actually really simple when you just
Right. It's just
Okay, well,
cross.
let's do this.
No, it's
You're my husband,
Uh-huh.
and he's her husband.
Right.
Okay.
I'm sleeping with both of you,
Okay.
And I would be sleeping with both of you.
Okay.
but you're not sleeping together.
And they're not
We're
sleeping together.
Okay.
And then she sleeps downstairs. She has upstairs court.
Okay, let's not how complete that's way too much for me to handle right now. But okay, so when this relationship first started, what I'm
Yes.
curious is like
Whose idea?
whose
was
idea was it?
Yes.
Or who brought it up and how did you guys feel about that and all that good stuff?
Okay, so Andrew and I have always been in some form of an open relationship.
Okay.
From the beginning.
From the beginning. We
Okay.
started dating when we were 16.
Okay.
We
Okay.
were in high school. There were periods where we closed it here and there, but for the most part, it was always something. Our first poly relationship was with our like college best friend slash post college roommate.
It was
So-
a throuple.
Yes.
Not exactly.
Sort of a triad B situation. Ultimately, it didn't work. I mean, it
was a
lasted for a
female?
year and a half. No, it was a guy, another
Okay.
guy. But we broke up. And then Andrew and I got married, and James came back from Iraq.
So you already knew him.
No.
No, but we were part of the social group he had left.
Okay.
So while he was like, we had met him like once, like right before he deployed.
Okay.
Like, so we knew all of his friends.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if you want to
So
take
now,
over or if you
my
want me to keep talking.
story. James and I were very much monogamous
Hmm.
for 10 years before he met Annie. And me, being a very open and loving person, decided to embrace her into my family instead of what most people do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you guys were. So you guys were in a monogamous
Mm-hmm.
marriage. She already
We
had a
survived.
connection.
We survived 2 tours in Iraq.
Okay.
Monogamous.
Did you
Wow,
know
that's
that?
tough.
Did you know
Wow.
that he was open to?
He
Oh.
wasn't
He-
prior to
well,
going
he
to the
wasn't.
war.
Mhm.
But he came back. He needed someone he could.
I mean, he was like many marriages through wartime. Like the husband comes back, or the soldier comes back. You guys, you don't really don't talk much. Things are different. You're
Mhm.
different. They're different. We had a
Right.
kid while he was gone,
Mm.
and most of those marriages end in divorce.
Right, because
Right.
it's a lot.
Because-
Yeah.
They're cheating,
Mm-hmm.
and he chose not to cheat. He chose to come to me
Yes.
and
I
talk
love
to
it.
me. And instead of destroying the family and tearing everybody apart,
Mm-hmm.
why?
Mm-hmm.
I just
So you guys brought 2 families together.
so we